We're going to dive into the video, but before we do that, we got a little business we got to take care of, okay? I need to tell you guys something. I made a video that came out yesterday morning regarding gold confiscation. Now, I've put out several other videos in the past. We talk about gold confiscation all the time, right? Happened in 1933, all that good stuff. I was working on the script for that video for about a week. I watched a video. There's a channel called Bald Guy Finance, and I watched a bunch of videos. I've watched probably way too many videos about gold confiscation over the last, I don't know how many years, 20 years at this point. However, Bald Guy put out a video with a very interesting concept, something quite frankly that I'd never thought of myself. The idea that the central banks don't need to confiscate our gold because all they have to do is print money and they can buy all the gold they want. They kind of are doing it indirectly. I want to give public recognition that that idea was from his video. I thought it was very interesting. Like I said, the video I made was a conglomeration of information that I've absorbed over the 20 years, but I meant and I intended to say that in the video that he brought that up, but when I was shooting it, I did not. You know, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. But Bald Guy is a very nice guy. If you've never checked out his channel, don't go now because I want you to be in this live stream, but go check it out sometime. He's a super nice guy. He has very high quality content. I think he puts out a video every week, so you might want to check that out. But let's talk about right now, right? We have gold, before I came on, up $15. What is going on? Silver was even up just a few cents. We need to talk about it. It's very interesting, bizarre reaction to the debt ceiling, right? We've got the debt ceiling, debt limit crisis that's supposedly now been fixed, and that should be sending gold and silver down. Now, I made a prediction that we'd be over $2,000 on gold by Friday of this week. It's Tuesday morning right now. This doesn't surprise me, and I can't quite put my finger on it. I don't know if you can. If you can, tell us in the comments, but I just felt like with this whole debt limit, the kind of the sell the news type scenario, that we were going to be in for some good support for the gold price and the silver price this week. Because guys, remember in 2011, gold and silver went to record highs because they couldn't resolve the debt limit. But now they've resolved it. What's going on? Well, we're going to talk about that in this video. It's very interesting. Maybe it's some major geopolitical, right? Like major world events. We got some news on that as well that we're going to talk about. It's just an interesting environment. So they have a deal, but we have the Republicans. I think Ron DeSantis, let me say this. He said we're careening towards bankruptcy. That's how do you feel about that? It's like, oh yeah, we got a deal. The debt limit's going to be raised. We can pay Social Security. We can go deeper in debt. I'm hearing numbers now like $40 trillion of debt, quite possibly by the time this period where they've upped the debt limit, when it expires, $40 trillion in debts. And then at the same time, this is not a done deal because we have the liberal Democrats that are saying, well, you're not increasing spending enough. I guess there's some changes to some of the social programs that they're not happy about. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Let's go to the comments here. 17 would be sweet. Hello, Chris B. Ron's goal. Yes, guys. We're trying to get to 28,000 subscribers by the end of June. You can help by subscribing, and if you're on right now, give us a thumbs up. Smithsma says, buy gold. Hello, William Pugh. Good to see you. Good to see you. And let's see here, guys. All right, good morning, Code Corey. Good morning. Boo-boo. First mining gold. Yeah, I've not looked at it yet this morning. It's been a busy morning for me. Hello, Jerry. Hello, Neil. Hello. They're watching Ron's basement. Jerome and Janet. Hello, Wayne LeMay. All right, inflation keeps rising. Yes, that's a good point, Saxon. And, maybe that's what's going on. See, what they're saying now about this debt limit agreement is that it's not, the government spending is going to be somewhat constrained. And they're like, oh, that could hurt the U.S. economy. I mean, what kind of situation are we in that the only way the U.S. economy survives and does well and grows is if we continue to rack up unsustainable levels of debt? Does that make sense? Right? I mean, that's like you living off your credit cards and drawing more and more and more balance into your credit card balance. Does that make any sense? Right? I don't know. It's going to be interesting if we hit. It even gets more interesting when you dive into some of the technical details and realize what's going on right now with the Fed removing liquidity, the banking crisis, removing liquidity from the market, and the fact that if indeed this debt limit does get raised, the Treasury is going to be selling, borrowing, right? Needing money, right? That's going to suck even more money out of the economy because the government's out of money right now. And the only way they can get money, or the big way they can get money, is by issuing debt, by borrowing. So when they borrow, that's going to suck even more money out of the economy, an economy that's already struggling because the banking crisis is creating a liquidity crunch. It's going to get real interesting here, guys, and it could happen real soon, like in the next 6 months. Hello, Joseph. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Is the basement show ever? Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. Yes, Miss Maz, I'll mention you. Strawman Ron. I don't understand what that means. Please elaborate. Oh, hello, Steve Newberry. Good to see you. Strawman basement. I don't know what that means, Marshmaz. You gotta tell me what that one means, my friend. So we're in the situation now where they've created an economic situation that's not real good, right? Now we've got the debt limit that's going to reduce spending and suck more out of the economy. What's that going to do to the silver price and the gold price? Long term. Let's look out 6 months from now. The economy slows down precipitously and we continue with high inflation. Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve is going to find themselves in a position that is challenging, to say the least, right? They're going to be in a situation where, what do? Do we print more money, right? We know what that does. For the U.S. dollar goes down, the price of gold and silver go up. Or do we fight inflation, which requires tightness, which slows the economy down even more? It is an interesting, tough situation that they find themselves in, and one that nobody really knows how they're going to react. We do know one thing for sure. Let's just review silver and gold. They've been through this many times over the last thousands of years. Absolutely. So silver and gold and platinum and palladium, they'll be okay. They'll survive. Will Ron say poop on his live stream? Yes, I will, Marshmaz. Hey, guys, questions, comments? Let's get some discussion going, right? What's on your mind right now? What are you concerned about? What's your number one worry right now? I want to hear that in the comments so we can talk about it. What's your number one thing that makes you feel anxious, uneasy? It's normal. We're human. We all have fear, right? Tell me, and we want to talk about it. We got to talk about China a little bit later as well. What's going on over there? And we have big news out of Moscow as well. Okay? Big news. Growing older. Yeah, Blaine. I hear you, my friend. I am 53 years old. There's no stopping it. I think acceptance is the answer. I was talking to a buddy of mine the other day who's the same age. I said, if our life was a football game, we're probably well into the third quarter. So enjoy every moment. And you can't think about getting older too much because there's not much we can do about it, right? Good morning, SSS. I've got the new shirt. I'll start wearing it. Joseph wants to see gold up more. Annie needs a bug out strategy. Yeah, I was thinking about that. I was reading one of those really extreme articles the other day about how things could get really nasty in the cities. And I kind of live in a city, and how people in the country are going to be safest. And I'm like, I don't really have a place in the country to go to. Do you have a place in the country to go to? I'd be interested to hear about that. 420 Stacker is worried that he won't have enough before the slingshot rips. Amen, brother. I think that's a common concern amongst stackers. Do you have enough? Do we have enough? You know, I mean, who knows how much enough is? Let me run over here and grab my other notes. I want you guys say something to the bear. The bear wants to hear from you. We're going to be right back. Hold on. All right. Welcome back. Yeah, I'll never WhatsApp you, and you can all come to England. Yeah, Europe's an interesting place right now as well. Out in the country, you should bug out there. Yeah, if you have friends or family out in the country, we may have none than enough, but prepare with what you can afford. Thank you, Hillbilly Stacker. Should I stack metals or invest into trade school? That's a great question, Alex, because I often say, like, it's important to have some metals, but it's also important to have some skills, something you can offer your fellow humans, right? Some type of skill, something, give them some service, give them some enjoyment. Whatever the case may be, you know, that's an important thing to have. So I would say both if you can. Smithsma said, shouldn't gold and silver be much higher since a deal is in place for the debt ceiling? That's, Smithsma's, that's an interesting question, right? Because, you know, we heard that gold and silver could do very well if the debt ceiling wasn't raised, right, as a flight to safety. But at the same time, now that there is a deal, you know, I think the likely narrative on that is that this new deal will constrict the economy and force the Federal Reserve to loosen up with monetary policy sooner as opposed to later. Is the bear? Yeah, the bear, that's a fake gold bar that the bear is holding. He's eating on it. It's his little snack. Okay. Hi, Original Intent. Hello, Neil. I live in the middle of nowhere. And I can say the number of people moving to the country is crazy. Thank you, Hillbilly Stacker. Yeah, I can see why. Hello, Smitty. Smitty's the silver bear who has a blindfold on that says 85. That's because when silver hits $85, that blindfold will come off. Just got back from Italy. I've never been asked so many times. What? Oh, that's interesting, Andrew. Yeah, you know, I think for those of us who are kind of America-centric, we don't realize that the rest of the world has a different perspective on America than Americans probably have on America. You know, the world is changing like never before, right? Geopolitically, on many levels. Financially, the world monetary system, we know that, you know, what's going on. These other countries are a little fed up with the, let's say, financial policy of the United States and are now moving, and it's a majority of the world's population, towards a new reserve currency, which will likely be backed by real assets, things like silver, things like gold, right? And these countries, when they look at the United States on many different levels, are kind of shaking their heads. I mean, I hate to say this, but and this is not a political channel, but I don't think a lot of the world has a ton of respect for our, I'll just say, political leadership. Let's leave it at that. I don't think a lot of Americans, when you look at the polls, right? Just look at the numbers. Let me ask you in the chat, do you have a lot of respect for your political leaders? Yes or no? I think I'll be honest with you. Unfortunately, I have to say no. Overall, there's some exceptions that I may have a deal of respect for, but Carl Nyman says no. Original Intent says 0. Sharon Johnson says no. Our country has turned into an episode of Maury and Springer. Coin Shop Chris, our good friend, he says no. D. Frisco says no. Annie says no. Does anybody say yes? You said a mouthful. No. No is a complete sentence. No. 0 respect. Yeah, I mean, 0.0 says SoCal Fugi. Brandon Baker. Hillbilly Stacker. Steve Newberry. No. I mean, the world, and then I think even internally, I mean, what is going on? What went wrong, right? What went wrong? My gosh. Oh. Now let's talk about silver for a second. The silver price. We know gold, I believe, is going to surprise us in the coming week and even in the coming months. I could be dead wrong, okay? It's not financial advice. What I'm concerned about with silver is if we are presented with very tough economic times, that silver, partly because of perception, partly because of reality, could hit a snag because industrial demand could decrease. And at the same time, if the economy gets really bad and people don't have any money, which, aren't we kind of approaching that now? People won't have money to invest into silver, to convert fiat. They won't have the fiat to convert into silver. But are we already at that point? I mean, we know that consumer debt is at $17 trillion right now. We know that savings have been severely depleted right now. So are we already in that situation where a lot of the world, especially in the Western world, like people just don't have the money to put into silver, to put into gold? I don't know. Let me know what you think. I can be dead. Usually the way that we look at things can be a little distorted. Lynette Zhang will be in Ron's basement on August 1st. They contacted me, and Lynette Zhang requested that she be on the Ron's Basement Show. So Lynette Zhang will be here on August 1st. $50,000 gold. Whoa. Hey, how do you feel about that? That's interesting. I wonder if she said that in a recent interview. I get attacked when I put out thumbnails or videos where I talk about $50,000 gold or $25,000 gold, $50 silver, even though silver's already hit $50 once in the past, like years ago. And I mean, maybe we should change the titles of the videos and thumbnails to more like $80, $85 silver. Yeah, you like that, don't you, Coin Shop Chris, right? $85 silver, because when you adjust for inflation, that's about where the price should be right now from an all-time high perspective. Red tuxedo for Lynette. She's a hottie. Platinum. Neil likes platinum at 100K. Wow, Lynette Zhang. Welcome. Yes, we'll have to welcome Lynette to the big leagues, right? Or are you talking about me? Welcome to the big leagues. Yes. Welcome to the big leagues, Lynette. You made it to the basement. Actually, you know what? Honestly, how this all came about was her company reached out to a lot of their customers and said, who do you want to see Lynette talk to and be interviewed by? And apparently a lot of you told her Ron's Basement. That's an honest to God story. So, that's how that all came about. And I'm very honored to have Lynette. I plan on having a great interview with her that I'll be able to share with you sometime in early August, like I said. Yeah, I love Lynette too. Yep, she's from Arizona. Hey, Coin Shop Chris, ITM Trading. Yes, very nice people over there that reached out to me to schedule this meeting with Lynette Zhang. So, hey, whatever happened to FTX? How come we don't ever hear about that anymore? Remember Sam Bankman-Fried and the big, scandal that went on with the FTX? Why has that been like kind of put to the side? I'm just curious. Any thoughts on that, right? Why aren't we hearing anything about that? More central bank news. I think I shared this with you last night. Now we have the Central Bank of Iraq doing two things. Number one, from what I read or saw, correct me if I'm wrong, because I am often wrong, I saw that they are basically outlawing the U.S. dollar in Iraq, which doesn't make any sense because then I also read that we're building a military base in Iraq. But anyway, I digress. The other big news out of Iraq is that they are buying gold. Their central bank is buying gold, another central bank. And they said, we're going to keep buying it and buying it and buying it. So very interesting developments, right, in the world. Who was it that bought 15? Somebody just bought 15. Oh, Poland bought 15. Poland bought 15 tons of gold. Very interesting. I don't know of any update regarding the situation with BlackRock, the world's biggest institutional investor, who bought a bunch of PSLV. I think it was the week before last. The Sprott Physical, that basically when people put money into that, and I think they'd increased their position up to like 170 million, they're buying physical silver. So you can say BlackRock bought physical silver. I don't know of any updates. I don't know if anybody's heard anything new on that. If you have, tell us in the comments because, BlackRock is the institution in institutional investor, right? They are like the biggest. So some people say that, all the other institutional investors are going to be watching, going to be, that could be, that's what these guys do, right? They kind of watch each other and mimic each other. And that we could see more institutional money coming into the physical silver world. Now, I put out a video, which was my original idea, that maybe there's a dark side to that. What if they were buying that to use as ammo if they wanted to tamp the price down, right? If they wanted to push silver down, they could dump all that immediately, forcing Sprott to dump that physical metal onto the market. Hey guys, I appreciate you all being here. Please give this a thumbs up. It really helps. Let's see if we can get to 100 thumbs up. That would be awesome. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. I'm going to put out a video every day for you for the rest of my life. They use SLV to tamp. PSLV does not affect. My only thought on that original intent would be that since that is the actual physical metal that Sprott has to buy with that money, that if BlackRock wanted to dump it on the market, right, create a big wave of selling, that they could do that. Again, I'm not a technical guru in that area, but to me, that was the dark side to that news, potentially. I don't trust BlackRock. Yeah, people don't trust BlackRock. Hello, Timothy Zub. Good to see you, my friend. Hello, Marshmaz. The 1933. Yeah, the Gold Confiscation Act was a crime. What really, really is sad about what happened is they took the gold from American citizens, and then once they had it, not only did they have the gold, but then they revalued it, I think like 70% higher, right? So that Roosevelt could print money. It was different back then. And this is the big key difference. Back then we were on the gold standard. They were locked in to how many dollars they could create. So they had to take the gold. Whereas now they're not locked in, right? Our money's based on nothing, based on air, or what is it? Confidence or full faith, blah, blah, blah. And think about it, full faith. And I asked you guys earlier, and you told me right? You told me, you said you don't necessarily have a lot of respect for your politicians. So the dollar is based on the full faith in a bunch of politicians that nobody trusts. And that's in America, right? Think about that. Wow. Now, this is another unique thought that I'm having. So anybody else that uses it, I want credit, right? Look, in America, we don't trust our own politicians. What do you think the rest of the world thinks of us? I mean, you know what I mean? That's kind of like if you have a brother and you don't trust your own brother, right? Well, then what do you think the rest of your neighbors and the rest of the people? Does that make sense, guys? And maybe that's why the world is moving toward silver, moving toward gold. Just a thought, right? Maybe they've lost some faith. Maybe they've lost some trust, right? Maybe that's what's going on, right? Maybe it's time that hopefully this big ship of the United States can get turned and steered in the right direction, because we want people to trust us. We want to be friends with the world. Holders of PSLV can take actual physical delivery. Yes, Blaine, that's correct. And I used to know that detail. It's a lot. You got to have a lot of money in there, but yes, you can take physical delivery. Hillbilly Stacker, they paid you $1 for $1, and then once they had all the dollars, they say now they're worth $2.20. Yeah, it was a interesting situation. I think you're referring to the gold confiscation that occurred. And that was the whole idea that this guy Bald Money brought up, which I thought was, I presume that it was an original thought of his, and I'm not questioning that at all. Brilliant idea and concept that, now we don't need to have gold to print money. We can print money all we want, make-believe money, paper money, and they can use that to buy gold. Speaking of which, China. Reading this morning, did you hear the news about China? I guess their recovery over there isn't going so well, their economic recovery. I've got some interesting points I want to talk about with that. Hold on, I want you to talk to the bear for another second. If the bear says anything, don't believe him. Wait a minute. I'll be right back. Yeah, that bear. If he says anything, don't believe him. Hey guys, it's the bear. Could you do me a favor and see if you can convince Ron to lower that gold target to $2,300 so I can get this blindfold off? All right, guys, I'm back. I hope that bear wasn't spreading any false information when I was gone. Is Ron going poop? Oh, you're funny, Blaine. Yeah, no, I wear Depends diapers when I do the live streams. Don't worry. But Bear says gold is yummy. Hillbilly Stacker, not a French Revolution. It ended up a horror show. Tim Zub says we need to find and talk to purchasing people and companies that buy and use silver in manufacturing. That will break this bubble. Yes, absolutely. Good point, Mr. Zub. Thank you. We need a Boston Tea Party. Lock and load. So they're talking about this news out of China. They're talking about China's economy slowing down, and that now the Chinese government is going to enact more stimulative policies, more money printing, guys, more debt creation. The whole world, when you look at the amount of debt in the world, I heard a figure the other day, $380 trillion. Crazy. I mean, just absolutely crazy. More and more and more debt, and that little bit of gold and silver that backs up everything. CoinShop Chris thinks more banks are going to fail by the end of June. 4,000 banks insolvent, says Marshmaz. Well, yeah, I don't know. I guess that will depend on Oh, and I listened to a really smart analyst talk about this the other day. Oh, what's her name? She has black hair. Anyway, she was basically saying that it's going to depend. I mean, like, we are in tricky waters for the banks right now. They are. A lot of the banks are in, I guess there's no other way to say this to you, but they're like in an insolvent situation. Lynn Alden, thank you. Thank you, Original Intent. You must have saw the same interview. And correct me if I'm wrong on this, but Lynn Alden said that, like, it's going to depend kind of how things play out over maybe we're already in June, or we're almost in June. Let's say over the next 2 or 3 months with interest rates. And she also talked about this very interesting concept, this idea about when the debt limit is resolved, there's going to be a huge, I mean, and I talked about this earlier, and this is what she talked about, and I've heard a lot of people talking about this, like, the government is going to need to sell a lot of debt, right? The government's going to be selling a lot of treasuries, selling a lot of IOUs, borrowing a lot of money. Where's that money going to come from, right? And, that may push rates up as well, because if there's not, what I'm thinking the money's going to come from? I bet the Fed's going to step in somehow, right? The Fed's going to step in. The Fed's going to step in, and they may not even publicly admit it, but they'll print money, digits, right? Woo, see, right? See it floating around here, all that paper electronic money? Watch. What happens when I open this box? Did you see it? Right? All types of electronic digit money goes floating around. It's going to be interesting. That could, because, the government's going to say, hey, we need to borrow trillions of dollars, right? And people are like, we don't have trillions to give you. So either the Fed's going to have to print a bunch of money, or the government's going to have to keep making the interest rates look better and better on those bonds so that people are willing to give them their money. Does that make sense? And people in the world are looking at the United States, like we talked about earlier, and saying, you guys got some problems over there. So where's this money going to come from? The world's moving away from the petrodollar. A lot of the world, you hear about Brazil, Argentina, I mean, all these countries that are saying we're not going to use the dollar for trade anymore. It's going to be interesting, guys. It's going to be very, very interesting. Although I don't know if you heard this or not, but I did hear, like, we talk a lot about de-dollarization, the world moving away from the dollar. And now it's even on the mainstream news, right? So it's okay to talk about it, okay? But the dollar as a reserve, there's a difference between dollars as a trade currency and dollars as a reserve currency. Dollars as a reserve currency, they are going down, but the really smart people in the room are saying that's going to take a long time for that to change. It could happen quickly, no doubt about it, but it's likely going to take a long time. Ron, do you feel we should default? Yeah. No better teacher in life than pain, right? I think we've to a certain degree avoided reality in the United States for a while now. I mean, if I had to answer that question, I would just off my cuff say yeah, but I don't know. Hello, Daisy. Hello, Corey. Hello, Shadow Work. Fart unicorn, fart dust. That's right. Thank you for bringing that up. I don't think, gold and silver are real money. Everything else is uniform fart dust. Get a free phone and it updates every day. Television has a pixel cam on screen as well as new car microphones, voice recognition. They're taking in data on us and from every corner. Okay, Marshmaz, that's a pretty funny comment you just put up there. I don't know what you guys think, but Christine Lagarde, I thought you said is a man. Okay. All right. Very, very, very interesting. So, big D-Day. I got to step away for just 1 minute. I'll be right back. You guys talk to the... I will be coming back, and we've got one more big thing to talk about. So don't go anywhere. Take a little break. Talk to the bear. We got one big deal that we need to talk about. I'm back. I'm back, and we got something big to talk about, guys. Something very big. Okay? Original intent. Did we get to 100? Hey, guys, yeah, look, come on. Come on, man. Let's get to 100. I'll ring the bell, the coffee bell. For those of you who don't know, this bell I brought down here so that when I ring it, my wife, Susie, runs down and refills my coffee, which happens to be empty right now. It's going to be a big day when that actually happens because I ring it over and over, and the best I get out of her is a laugh. You know, every dollar in existence is a debt. Great point, C-130. Great point. Thank you for bringing that up. It is all a debt. There's no backing. In 1971, Nixon took the backing away from the dollar. It was backed by gold. Now there's no backing of the U.S. dollar. It's backed by aircraft carriers, and which are powerful, no doubt about it. But guys, things have changed. The bear told us where he buried the silver. Okay, now I'm going to have to gag his mouth as well. No more talking to the bear when I'm gone. Uh-oh, nobody's watching. Yeah, no, there's a lot of people still here. And the number one person who's here right now is you, right? We are a community. Guys, we can help each other. You guys do an awesome job in the chat during these live streams, answering each other. We can learn from each other. That's like the biggest thing that we can offer, right? I make videos. I try to share with you what I learned. You guys use stuff back. It's really an awesome thing. So thank you so much. And yes, we're trying to get to 28,000 subscribers by the end of June. Now, what's this other big thing? Big, mega, that we need to talk about. June 14th will be the Fed's announcement regarding their interest rate policy. Everybody thinks now they're going to raise rates. I'm going to go out on a limb. I think they're going to pause on June 14th. I think we've got, 2 weeks from tomorrow, basically, is the day. And I believe we're going to pause, and I believe that's possibly going to ignite a great rally in the precious metals. I could be wrong. Don't make any financial decisions based upon my thoughts, my ideas. Oh, we got it! 10 rings. Got to 100 thumbs up. Thank you, guys. You're awesome. But could be happy days for gold and silver investors. Very happy days. Jerome is increasingly finding himself more and more boxed in. And I think they're going to get to a point where they're like, maybe we should do nothing for a little bit and kind of see what happens. And, that will make the U.S. dollar drop, and that will make the price of gold and silver go down. Thank you guys for being here. Okay, you're the most important part of Ron's Basement, and I'm going to look forward to seeing you next time.